Hey, what's up everybody? Frank Valkyria. Welcome to the channel. Let's talk about the Eternals. Yes! Let's start this. We keep it short. Also spoilers ahead, so you weren't. Watch out if you didn't watch the movie yet. So I went to see the movie a couple of days ago, paid 14 euro for the Dolby Digital Room, which has this amazing sound system. And the first impression is deep disappointment. Absolutely deep disappointment. This is almost as worst as Black Widow, I have to say. I don't know what it is. I think maybe Marvel is losing a little bit the streak. Whether because some story they don't translate very well. Of course, also in the comic book realm. I know nothing about those Eternals. So of course I also don't come with that kind of preparation that perhaps some of the audience might have attached with those Eternals. The reason why I like the idea is because I'm a great fan of ancient alien theory, the Anunnaki, Babylon, and for some reason it seemed here that was tapping into that a little bit, right? Borrowing from that, you know, those immortal beings coming to hate humanity. They've been around for some of them for millions of years, hating the Celestials in their objectives, and so I was like very intrigued. I hope it went in that direction, but turned out to be a little bit different. The big problem I have with this movie is, first of all, it's too convoluted. There are too many things you have to swallow and things you have to let it pass, you know, in order to accept it. And even when you dial up the expectation dial, you know, very low, you're still left with a lot of bitter taste in your mouth. The biggest problem with this movie, I think, is just too many characters. Too many characters, and variation and the inclusivity and all of that. It's all great, it's all wonderful, but the characters themselves in the movie, they have no time to reach you. You're supposed to like those people, but they don't give you really a chance a little bit more in depth to connect with them. If you see a movie like Lord of the Ring, there's also a huge cast, but the writing is better, the story building up is better, that you very quickly develop a connection with them. And there are great actors in this movie, Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, but they feel like totally misused. The big revelation of this movie, you know, the Celestials, those gigantic totem planet-sized gods, they need to be born inside a planet. So they create the deviants because the deviants are supposed to kill the predators on the planet so that humanity can thrive, because the Celestial feed of intelligence. What a thing. So many things you gotta swallow. And because the deviants all of a sudden they revolt, then, you know, like the Celestials create the Eternals to rectify the mistake. So it turns out kind of that the Eternals are the bad guys of the movie. So the big revelation here is that those Celestials are not even biological entities. They're synthetic, made of circles of gold. And they are aiding the Celestial to be born, and they do this for such a long time, and because they do that over and over again, the Celestials erase their memory and keep their memory somewhere in some kind of honeycomb structure somewhere on this weird planet. So all the premise of we are Eternals coming from Olympia, they're borrowing, not so indirectly, quite directly, from Greek mythology, and that turned out also to be fake. You know, Athena, no Athena, Athena without the hay. And then it turns out it doesn't even exist. It was a fabrication. You sneaky Celestials. And they couldn't do anything better than that, than creating synthetic things. So the Eternals understand that themselves. So it's the big revelation of the movie. And because of that, of course, once you're aware of all the things, you can make a different call, which is they want to find a different way to let the emergence of the Celestial to occur without killing humanity in the process. And you're like, okay, some philosophical stuff about the movie are interesting because it deals with making the right choice, deals with, the philosophical aspect of life needs sacrifice in order to happen, because with the birth of a celestial, even if it destroys an entire civilization of billions of people, but this celestial will create sons, or a sun that will create more planets, and there's going to be tenfold or hundredfold or 1,000-fold the amount of life being born. So in that way, like, they could have played a little bit more with those things, but the movie just doesn't give you the time. It doesn't give time to the characters to develop, and as a result you really feel no connections. There are characters in this movie which they are not on screen very much. The engineer which creates the technology to share with humanity to evolve, it's there a couple of times there, and that's it. So there's a lot of missed opportunities. And also the love story in between those two, oh Jesus. I mean, the human guy is almost the most interesting. The guy from Game of Thrones, it's almost the more interesting, and it's not even a superhero. And also that story. So guys, I mean, a lot it's been said about this movie. For me, it was a disappointment. I cannot give this movie more than a 6, honestly. I understand that probably the scope was bigger, but it failed almost in all of it. And perhaps, again, this would have been best suited to be a TV series where they could have explored the depth of the characters a little bit more, and therefore we could have finally built a connection with them enough to care. I really didn't care about none of them, really. And that's it. That's about it. Let me know your thoughts. And actually, on a last note, the funnier character was the Bollywood star with the manager. I think they offered the most sympathy. I felt the most sympathy for them than anybody else. And there are certain things in the movie that they're just ridiculous, like Icarus at the end betraying everybody and also killing himself, literally flying into the sun, which is borrowed directly from the Greek mythology again. Anyway guys, if I missed something, let me know your thoughts. Maybe I give it another try to this movie, and I talk to you later. Ciao.